Moving on now, India has accused Pakistan of harbouring terrorist training camps in the part of Kashmir that it occupies. It's hit back at Pakistan for raising the issue of Jammu and Kashmir at the UN General Assembly. Pakistani Prime Minister Imran had accused India of stepping up the military ante in the Muslim-majority region.
In order to divert attention from its illegal actions and atrocities in Indian-occupied Jammu and Kashmir, India is playing a dangerous game of upping the military ante against Pakistan in a nuclearized environment.
Neha Punia joins us live from New Delhi now. Neha, accusations are coming from both sides. Does India have evidence of terrorists being trained across the border, though?
Don, it's not the first time that India has accused Pakistan of sheltering and supporting militants on its soil and also of pushing a false narrative as far as Jammu and Kashmir is concerned. From the 2008 Mumbai terror attack to last year's terror attack in Pulwama in Kashmir, in which 40 Indian soldiers were killed, India has consistently maintained these were carried out by terror groups that operate on Pakistani soil. India maintains that after every one of these terror attacks, including quite a few we've seen over the last few years where militants targeted Indian Air Force and army bases, India has found conclusive proof tying these groups to Pakistan, and it maintains that despite handing over evidence on many accounts, Pakistan has failed to act against these terrorists that continue to operate freely on its soil. India also maintains in its latest charge that Pakistan quite recently deleted 4,000 names from its terror watch list, citing lack of enough information, saying it's another thing that points to the fact that Pakistan's not serious about tackling homegrown terrorism. It's always maintained that there is an attempt by Pakistan to foment unrest in Jammu and Kashmir. It cited examples where Pakistan's own Prime Minister Imran Khan has in the past said that there are in fact thousands of militants in Pakistan, and also, most importantly, India cites the kind of scrutiny that Islamabad is facing from the group that looks at terror funding, and that group has put Pakistan on its grey list.
Neha, are we looking at another round then of escalation of tensions between both sides after what has been months of relative peace?
Ties are already at a record low, Steve, and this has been described by many experts as not being peaceful but an uneasy calm. We've not seen any diplomatic engagement between the both sides for many, many years now. And last year, after India changed the status of Jammu and Kashmir, you had Pakistan officially downgrading ties with India. Since then, we've seen both sides slash their diplomatic missions by half. There's been absolutely no engagement, barring a handful of small issues. And as far as diplomacy is concerned, while there's been an icy coldness on that front, really, the border between the two countries in Kashmir particularly has been very, very active. The Indian government's data shows there have been 3,000 ceasefire violations along the de facto border in Kashmir. This is the highest it's been in 17 years, but certainly these charges that are now being traded between both countries at the United Nations, no less, is certainly going to make it even more difficult for both sides to sit down and talk about Kashmir, which really remains the biggest issue they disagree over.